afternoon. This is lesson 49, Algebra 1. In this lesson, we're going to talk about multiplying polynomials. In our last lesson, we learned a polynomial is simply an algebraic expression with one term or more. Okay, we learned what makes a polynomial. So this is it's got two terms. It's a binomial because it's got two. Type of polynomial. So now we're going to learn how to multiply. And we've already kind of done this. We did A times B plus C. And we used a distributive property. And we took this term times every term inside. So we said it's A times B plus AC. So now let's look at, we have 4x times x squared minus 2. Well, we take everything here, because it's one term, times however many terms are inside parentheses. When we distribute, there is 2. So we would have 4x cubed, x times x squared is x cubed, minus 2 times 4 is 8, and then x. And that would be your answer. So that's pretty easy to do. Now let's look at this one. So let's look at A plus B times C plus D. How do we do that? Well, we have to know what our rule for multiplying polynomials is. And the rule is to multiply one polynomial by the second, each term of the first polynomial must be multiplied by each term of the second. So you have to have A times C plus A times D plus B times C plus B times D. Doing it that way, right? Every term here by that, and every term here by every term in there. So we get AC plus AD plus BC plus BD. Then we would simply see if we had any like terms. Remember, to be a like term, you have to have the same variable or variables all raised to the same power. I have A's, but this has a C and this has a D, so those aren't like terms. These aren't like because there's no A here. Here, they both have B's, but this one has a C and this one has a D, so they're not like terms. So this is simply your answers as far as you can simplify it. So let's try some real problems. Let's try 4x plus 5 times 3x minus 2. Well, you have two terms in this polynomial, and you have two terms inside this parentheses, this polynomial. So you have to take 4x times everything. So 4x times 3x, 4 times 3 is 12, and x times 12 is x squared. 4x times a negative 2 is minus 8x. 5 times 3x is plus 15x. 5 times a negative 2 is a minus 10. So do I have any more? So I ended up with 4 terms. Are any alike? There is no more squares, so there's no like term here. These two both have x. They're both to the first power, so they are like terms. So I simply, remember, we think of them as fractions, and that these two are the denominators. They have to be the same, just like the denominators, the terms have to be the same. Then you simply add the numerators or the coefficients. Negative 8 plus 5 is a positive 7x, and you keep this, it doesn't change. Minus 10, 12, x squared, plus, because 15 is bigger than 8, so it's plus, and there is your answer. Okay? Now, another way of looking at this is we can do this vertically. And some of you might like this procedure better, or you can do it horizontally. Just know that however many terms are in this polynomial inside this parentheses must be multiplied. Each one must be multiplied by every term in the other polynomial for it to, and add them all together. So let's look at, again, 4x plus 2 times 3x minus 5. Well, we can write these. You're going to write them in descending order. X, this is an X, there's no X there. X plus 2, and then we're going to write them vertically. 3x minus 5. You simply take the first term, it's a positive. Whatever sign's to the left, remember, it attaches to it. So 3x times 4x is what? 12x squared. 3x times 2 is plus 6x. Then you take the second term, which is a negative 5. Don't forget that negative. Negative 5 times positive 4x is a minus, because a negative times a positive is a negative. 20x, and then negative 5 times positive 2 is a, whoops, minus 10. These two are alike. There's nothing else for this one to do it. And you've got what? A positive 6 and a negative 20 become a negative 14. Because doesn't 6 minus 20 equal negative 14? Because the signs are different and 20 is bigger. That's why it stays negative. And then you keep the x minus 10. And that's simply, well, your answer. So when they mean descending order, my answer was, I'm going to rewrite it. I'm going to change the order of it. But it's exactly what we had. You look at the variables, descending means going down from larger to smaller. They're not in descending order, so this 12x squared minus 14x minus 10, now it's in descending order and there's no variable here. So that's what they mean when they say put it in descending order. Let's do another one. Could we do 3x plus 2 squared? What does that mean? It simply means 3x plus 2 times 3x plus 2. So I'm going to write these vertically because I like this method better, but you can use whichever method you like. So you take the first term times the first term. That's 9x squared. You can't forget how to multiply 3x times 3x. Remember, it simply means this. This times this is 9. X times x are the same base. To the first power, you add them, so that's why it's x squared. So it goes back using those rules. Don't think because now you're doing something crazy that you forget how to multiply x times x, because you don't. You know how to do it. 3x times positive 2 is plus 6x. Then you take this positive 2 times 3x plus 6x. 2 times 2 plus 4. You combine like terms. You have 9x squared plus 12x plus 4, and it's in descending order. That is simply your answer. Right? So let's try one a little bit more complicated, which is 4x minus 2 times x squared plus x plus 4. The first thing you do is you want these in descending order. Then I've got 2 terms times 3 terms. So I'm going to put the bigger one, just like when you multiply, because I'm going to write it vertically, and you put the one with more digits or one with more terms on top. It doesn't matter. I mean, just like I could do 135 times 25 or 125 times 135. It's just easier. It's less adding I'm going to have to do because I only am multiplying 2 instead of 3. So we take the first term. 4x times x squared is 4x cubed. Because remember, x squared times x, 2 plus 1, plus 4x squared plus 16x. And then you have negative 2 times x squared, so minus 2x squared. Negative 2 times x, minus 2x. Negative 2 times 4 is minus 8. Do I have any like terms? I have no more cubes. I have a square here and a square here. They're both x's, so those two are like terms. And what are my coefficients? Negative 2 and positive 4, so it's plus 2x squared. Remember, I don't add the powers. And then I have an x and an x, so 16 minus 2 is plus 14x minus 8. And that's as far as you can simplify, and that is your answer. Okay, so do the practice problems. You should have taken notes. If you didn't, re-watch this and take notes, and I want to see your notes when you in class. I'll ask for them when we go over these lessons.